Hey sparklers, how are we doing? So today I have a story of a grandmother whose strength is absolutely amazing and whose guidance of her children as well as her grandchildren and standing up to a husband who was trying to control her will. So today I have this story for you. I hope you absolutely enjoy it as we go along.
Empress sparkle, guardian soul, you turn my fear into gold. Here in your light, I unfold. Ooh, Empress sparkle, soft and strong, you make me feel I belong. Safe in your circle, I grow.
As you may know, most people know who Mother Gaia is. She is the earth. She is personification of the earth. Basically, she came to be after chaos. So she came to be with her broad-breasted mountains and her seas, well, oceans, I apologise. They were the god Pontus, who was the god of the sea, and her daughter Aurea, the goddess of the mountains. These gave birth to places for the nymphs and also places for the forests to be able to enjoy. And then obviously the sea gave birth to many different creatures. So she was the grandmother of it all. From down deep though, Gaia had a place, a void called Tartarus that came to be. And Tartarus is our form of hell. Now, for me personally, I'm not going to get into much of Tartarus today. Maybe at some other point I will do a bit of a story on him. So let me know if you would like that in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe to my channel, like this video, because all of that helps, as well as sharing to people. Sharing the stories of the Greek mythology as well as the Greek gods and how to connect with them. So she then went on to give birth to Uranus, and Uranus was the god was sky. He was a personification of sky, so he was the heavenly god. He spread across her, all the way across her, given her life, given her joy, feeling comfort from him. She gave birth to his children, and these were the first titans. Not the only titans, I may add, but the first titans from the primordial gods. First there was Oceanus, and he was the god of the oceans. So we have the god of the sea, and now we have the god of the oceans. And then there was Cronus, who was the god of intelligence. And then we have Cronus, which was the god of heavenly constellations. Now these gods actually also come the pillars for the north axis and the south axis of Mother Gaia. Hepron, the god of heavenly light. Laptus, the god of mortality. Thea, the goddess of sight. Rhea, the goddess of motherhood. There's a reason why she is. Themis, the goddess of justice. Memosin, the goddess of memory. Phoebe, the goddess of prophecy. Tethys, the goddess of fresh water. And then, most probably the most famous out of all of them, Cronus. Cronus, well, we'll find out later what he's god of, because before then I don't believe he had a god title before then. Not that I've noticed off in any of the stories, but we will find out how he becomes god. Then she gave birth to Hecatrones, who were monsters with 100 arms and 50 heads. They were born and sadly very quickly locked away, along with their sibling, the Cyclops. Both were born to Gaia and both were born to Uranus. But he decided they were not worthy to walk on Gaia, their mother. So he decided to lock them away, bound to the walls of Tartarus. He decided this. This caused Gaia, as any mother, no matter what our child looks like or who they are, we would not want our child locked away. So this caused her a lot of pain, an awful lot of pain. But Uranus smothered her. She could not do a thing. He smothered all the way across her, so there was nothing she could do about this. So in the end, she had to devise a plan, and she went to her children and asked them all for help. Not one of them were willing to defy their father. Even the ones that weren't fathered by him were not willing to defy him. So, as she went to them for help, only one would stand against him, and that was Cronus, the wild youngest of them all. With this, Gaia formed a sickle, a grey flint one. So if you don't know what one of them, in the Bronze Age, it's what they would have used for tools. But she formed a grey flint sickle and gave it to Cronus and told him what to do. The next time that Uranus came to lay with her, Cronus was there laying in wait. He grabbed his father's genitals and sliced them off with the sickle, separating Uranus and Gaia forever. But before they separated, as Cronus's blood spilled, and obviously other bodily fluids spilled into the sea, out of the foam that was created by it, a beautiful goddess arose, and her name would be Aphrodite, the goddess of love and the goddess of beauty. She was born for all to see. Oh, that's going to trip you all out, because I bet you didn't realise that Aphrodite was older than Zeus. So Gaia also, with this blood that spilled and other bodily fluids, gave birth to the Erinyes, the giants and Melee, which the Melee are the ash tree nymphs. She had already had nymphs be born. Other children of hers had already had nymphs be born. But this gave way to them. As she continued her life, she then, with Pontus, gave birth to sea deities: Nereus, Thamus, Perseus, Ceto, and Eureba. But sadly, Uranus and Gaia, accepting the fate that they laid on the hands of their son, accepting what was done, they had a warning for him, a prophecy, you may call it. And that was, he will be overthrown by the hands of his own son. Which, I'm sure we all know the story of that was very true. As Cronus sat on his throne for all to see, as the king of the heavens, just as his father was, now was he. He took Rhea, his sister, for his wife. And we need to remember not to think of them as brother and sister in a way, because they're energy forms, not actual siblings. It's energy splitting off, etc. As his wife. And together they started a family. First was born was Hestia, a beautiful, bright-eyed thing. Absolute gorgeous Hestia is. And sadly, as soon as she was born, and Rhea passed her to Cronus, he put her straight into his mouth and swallowed her deep. as the fear of the prophecy that his mum and dad once told him, that his own child will overthrow him, was so in his mind that he ensured that it could never happen by swallowing each child. First it started with Hestia, then it was Demeter, then Hera, then Hades, then Poseidon. Next up was the youngest, Zeus. But Rhea couldn't take it anymore. No matter how much she loved Cronus, she could not take it anymore. Her children being swallowed, still growing inside their father. Their torment that must have been happening to them. So she went to her mother and her father and asked them for help and guidance to protect her child that was growing in her belly. They whisked her off to a cave in Crete, and there that is where she gave birth to Zeus, who everyone now knows is king of gods. You know, spoiler, but a few centuries old. But how was she going to trick Cronus? Cronus knows the baby wouldn't have passed or anything like that. So Gaia, our mother, Gaia, gave her a stone wrapped in cloth to give to Cronus. As soon as he saw it, he just swallowed it down whole. And that was it. He forgot about Zeus altogether and the children growing inside him. Rhea never had another child, but she still had one living that Gaia was hiding in the caves with her nymphs. He did not know this. He thought he had swallowed them all and he was safe. With Gaia's guidance, he grew fast and quick, and basically then Gaia helped him devise a plan to overthrow his father. Gaia provided Zeus with a potion, so Zeus hid in the castle under the guidance of a wine bearer, provided his father with wine, and then his siblings all came to pass, all grown up, lined in a row, coming out of their father. Obviously they would have all stood there in amazement, and obviously none of this could have been done without Gaia's help or guidance. But sadly this threw them into war, the Titan War. And sadly this was a massive issue for all. Now Gaia, bless her, she again was on Zeus's side, helping Zeus. Whereas Cronus, when he overthrew his father, he promised Gaia that he would free his siblings from deep down Tartarus. But he didn't do this. So Zeus, before she would trust him, had to free them, which he did. And to thank him, the Cyclops made him a lightning bolt. Yes, guys, that's right. This is where Zeus's famous lightning bolt comes from. And basically, they forged this for him as a thank you. Gaia was overjoyed. Her children were finally able to see her and walk across her land. But this wouldn't be for long, sadly. So the Titan War lasted 10 years and was only won with the help of her children from the deep down dark Tartarus. But sadly, after the war was won, and you would have thought Zeus would allow them to continue to roam free just as him and his siblings were, he did not. Sadly, he had the Cyclops chained to build weapons for the gods, and then he also had the Hecatonchires. I never can pronounce that, so I do apologise. guarding Tartarus, where he had put the Titans that fought against him. Sadly, with this caused quite a mad upset for Gaia, because her children were still not free. So Gaia, with her other offspring, the giants, went to war with Zeus once more. But I think we'll experience that a bit later, because I don't want to keep these videos that long. So I want to explain to you guys now how you can actually look after Gaia. So how you can actually show your love to Gaia, because I know this is one thing that a lot of people actually ask about. So one of the ways you can show your love to Gaia is having a garden for her, having a certain area for her. This could have statues, it could also have other things. The other thing is be respectful to the earth. So no throwing litter, be as kind as you can to it, like as kind as you can. Respecting nature, so that's a major one, is respecting nature. Also praying to her and stuff like that. And a lot of I don't mean this rudely, but a lot of witches bury their goods. This is one thing that I actually always suggest not to, unless it came from the earth. Don't bury it in the earth, because as we know, Mother Gaia can have a rotten apple on her, and then she can turn it into something positive. Absolutely amazing. The other thing she will do, she'll do that for you as well. Same way that she turns what we breathe out, the negative, into a positive, she can do that for your energy as well, which is grounding. So standing on her, praying to her for grounding, etc., etc., really does help. The other thing that actually helps with grounding as well with her is growing stuff, being a bit green fingered, so to speak. And she is absolutely amazing to work with. She is one of the oldest deities other than Chaos. So she is the next deity which is older. And this is one of the things that actually I love about her. She is most probably one of the most understanding as well, and one of the most that actually gets treated the worst out of everyone. When we think about the way that everyone treats the earth, it's quite in a negative manner. So yeah, but she is a beautiful goddess to worship, absolutely gorgeous. I do ask about you thinking about wastage, so wasting what she gives you, so things like blowing in cinnamon, etc. Think about this, on how you're wasting food, how you're wasting something that was provided to you by Mother Gaia, etc., because wastage is one of the most awful things to do, other than being obviously hubris. So this is one of the things that for me personally is really important to respect and understand, and also understand the respect that is still held for her by Zeus and his kingship. And the reason why I say that is we need to remember that she is their grandmother, and she did try to help them. So even though they went to war, you know, all families fight, all energies fight. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this anyway, guys. If there's any more questions, feel free to ask them below, and don't forget, keep sparkling.